Hello everybody, welcome. Happy Easter to all of you on this Easter Sunday. Trust you all with your family and having a good time and everything of the best from the Weighted to Win team this Easter Sunday. We start with our second race. It's a maiden juvenile plate over 1200 meters. A reminder about our Twitter account at Weighted to Win, or the WhatsApp number that's on your screen. You can go and have a look. 0691643272 is the number, and engage with us at any given time. Got Daryl Marie and Darren Burrows to work this Easter Sunday weekend and talk about what we can do in the second of a 9-race program, which naturally begins the bipot, and what appears to be on, well, I suppose from a selections perspective, and those horses that may be worth considering. There are a couple in here with chances. I'll start with Daryl Marie first, so you can give us an indication as to, which way we're going to go in our first leg.
Yes, Clyde. Let's touch on the comments in the front of the computer form. Number 11 will be Green. He's a half-brother to Mirage. She won a few races up the straight. Number 10 will improve from this. So there's no confidence coming out of those two comments. Number 12 doesn't have a comment. So I'd say to the viewers, possibly follow the market with regards to his chances. But number 9, I'm happy to bank him in the first leg of the bipod. Staff Performer. There was positive talk going into his debut effort, Clyde. He did travel a bit too hard and he didn't quite finish his race off. But with that racing experience, I think I'm hoping he can run in the top 2 for the opening leg of the bipod. He does have course experience, which is good because this is a tricky track. And another positive is Garth doesn't quite push his juveniles. So he has to have come on from that run.
Okay, so Star Performance, perhaps the right one in the race. Michael Miller, I see a comment from him regarding equity share, says nice horse will improve. So watch that. Marco van Rensburg's riding that for the stable. Darren, your indication, opening leg of the bipod, what do we do?
Clyde, I thought Star Performer ran a good race on debut, showed pace and just got outrun the final 100. His dam was a 1,000-meter specialist. So I'm not sure how the testing 1200 at Scottsville. Let's see how he goes. Professor Lupin interests me. He's a give me the green light out of Sea Glitter. I remember Sea Glitter sold as a yearling at the Keeneland sale for $240,000.
Sure.
She was very expensive dam. She's thrown Mirage, who won the Natal Stakes listed. She ran second in the Fillies Nursery. So it's a lovely pedigree, and Vaughan Marshall gets them ready on debut, and Richard Fourie is a jockey booking. So I like numbers 9 and 11, and follow the market closely with regards to Peter Muscat's runner Nelson Bay. A lovely Rafif colt. Craig Zaki takes the ride.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the anomaly with first-timers. You never really know. Stables may be of the impression they need it, and they show up. It often happens. Bank of the 9 from Daryl Marie and Ease by Pot. He's doing that with Star Performer. Hopefully good enough. With those horses that are on the screen, you can dot down or take your phone, take a snapshot of scan here. It takes you straight to the site for you to place your bet, and it's a 144 Rand bet. Third race on the card, a maiden class field over 1,200 metres. Note that the one Sea of Tears as early as Thursday, remember we are doing this on Thursday morning, has been taken out, so that's not going to run. And Daddy's Jet, I would imagine that would perhaps be the next best horse in the race. The likes of Mia Sophia, number 7 on the card, got to have a chance. There'd be a couple here. Darren Burrows?
The favourite's probably going to start Mia Sophia on that good last effort behind Jazz Diva. She got beat a short head, and I did like Jazz Diva with the Cape Town form that day. Daddy's Jet, she's been a bit disappointing because her debut was good, and since then she hasn't quite delivered. But I do make her a big danger. So I'm going 7 to beat 9 and just about anything for third.
Okay, 7 and 9, Sophia and Daddy's Jet, perhaps the right two. Daryl?
Yeah, Clyde. I did like the one over here, although she was well exposed. Mia Sophia was returning from Epistaxis last time out, and normally they say they ran the best races in their first start back. She ran a cracker. It looked like she was going to win, and she just got caught in the last stride. Richard takes the ride. On paper, she's certainly the right one. I think the improver in the race has to be number 10, La Prestissimo. Fair debut, Clyde.
Yeah.
I watched the replay. She was staying on in the latter stages, I certainly believe the additional 200 meters is going to be in her favor. And that run must have brought her on. I don't know how much in the space of 21 days, but she's got a lot of scope for improvement. What can we say about that combination, Clyde?
They're formidable at the moment. You can't leave Rachel Vernicker and Michael Roberts out of anything. And to give that a little bit of confidence, La Prestissima had a horse called Ladies' Day, a half a length in front of it, who then came out and ran second in its next start, albeit beaten something like 9 or 10 lengths. So that form may well work out. Here's a look at what we're doing in place accumulators. We're going like this, 1 and 10 from Darryl's side. And he's the rest of the PA, there is a banker that comes up later on. Darryl, do you know who that is?
Yes, I do, Clyde.
Who we bankering?
Isi Vungu Vungu.
Isi Vungu Vungu. Nice horse that. Okay, so we'll banker that for Peter Muscat and Richard Faree. And 2 and 4 at the back. 288 Rand. Maiden plate over 1750 meters as we have a look now at race number 4. It is a pick 6 opportunity. There will be 8 of them that go to the gate in this particular event. And I guess Nonoti may be the right horse in the race ahead of Jollification, I would have thought, Mr. Marie.
Yeah, we haven't seen the markets, but I expect the bookmakers to price up number 4, Diana the Huntress, as a short price favourite, just based on her debut effort, Clyde.
Right.
She was really low flying in the latter stages, according to what you see in the computer form. But if you watch the replay, there was a filly up front called Adelante. They were stopping to a walk. So she was certainly staying on. There are a few others that called it a day inside the final furlong. So I think it looks better than what it appears on paper. In saying that, she's very lightly raced and she's going to love the extra 350 meters. But I don't see much pace in the race of here. So let's see how she goes. I'm not going to be diving into a short price if they do price up shortly. Clyde, I watched the replay of Jollification.
Well, I don't think they're going to price up shortly now after what you just said.
So the betting is going to be out in a few minutes. So
okay, they wouldn't have heard this by then. Okay, cool.
Jollification, I watched the replay, Clyde. She's actually a nice big daughter by Jackson. Came out a touch slow, then she was over racing for a bit. She's the type of filly that I can see if she gets to the front and she slows it up and she skips for home, I wouldn't be surprised to see fend off the likes of Nonoti and Diana the Huntress. So 4, 7 and 8 for me. I don't know. You can choose the order.
Yeah, maybe Muzieni with Muzieni on Jollification may well be running in the race. I mean, there's particular form with reference to a horse like Kitty's Boy Girl that came and won, and so did Manic Monday, if I recall correctly. So there are a few in there that that represent solid form. So pick sixes, Mr. Burrows. Let me talk to you quickly. What are you doing first leg?
I thought 4, 7 and 8 enough, Clyde. Diana the Huntress really caught my eye on debut. The final 100, she absolutely took off. The distance is going to be suited, but I'm just thinking she's still green and immature. She might need one more run before being ready to win. Jollification, Nonoti. Nonoti did beat Jollification last time out by 2 lengths. I don't think there's going to be much separating them at the line.
Okay, so an interesting race, and Darren going horses, banker the 3. That's later on. That's going to be in his third leg of the pick 6, which happens to be in race number 6. He's bankering Noble City for Peter Muscat, then Field, then banker the 7 later on as well, Isi Vungu Vungu, and horses at the back. So that's his play. Darren, pick 6 on Easter Sunday. Race 5, this is a maiden plate over the 1750 metres out at Hollywood Bet Scottsville, and perhaps Rodaccio is the right horse in the race on current decent form, going the trip now of 1750 metres, which may well be the question that hangs over its head. Mr. Burrows, what do you think?
If he stays the trip, he'll win, but I've got big stamina doubts here. I'm not sure he'll see it out. For that reason, I'm adding horses like his Master's Voice. I thought he's a bit unreliable, but at his best, he'll run well. On that form line behind Adabar, Safe Space was half a length ahead of his Master's Voice, and he was only having a second start and doing time last time out below par performance. So Rodaccio, definitely the horse to beat, but I've got big stamina doubts.
Okay. Is it that kind of race that can, present a roughie or a result?
I think there's about 3 or 4 that could possibly win, Clyde. I narrowed it down to 3 runners, numbers 1, 5, and 7. Radici, I've also got my stamina darts. Clyde, I watched his latest replay. In the early stages, he was over racing. He needs to settle if he's wanting to see out the 1750. If he takes a tug again, I think he might be in trouble inside that final furlong. There's no doubt it was a decent effort last time out behind a Western Cape Raider. He pulled well clear of the balance. So he's certainly in with a huge shot as long as he settles in running. His Master's Voice and Safe Space, very little separating the two of them. Last time out, his Master's Voice had no cover. Safe Space came under pressure, turning for him. He was staying on. I don't know if he needs a pair of blinkers, but his Master's Voice has run his best race to date at Scottsville. And 3 runs back, if you look at that race, he had a horse called Arverni King behind him. So if he just reproduces a similar effort to that, he could go close today.
Okay. There are some in there. Marsh Rudy happens to be Laf's horse, Red Piano. Laf's in form at the moment. Moosey's riding it. I think it drops from a 70-something, a high 70 to a current 65 or something like that. But it's a plated race at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. They're all level weights. And perhaps worth including into your trifectas and quartets. Not a race to depend on, so I think you're going to have to play it safe. Daryl says jackpots 1, 5, and 7, bite 1, 2, 3, 4, by 6, 8, 9, 12, and bank of the 7 at the back. Race 6, let's chat about this race. It's a handicap and it's over the 1400 meters where Runaway Song, a horse like the 8 horse on the card, hasn't run for a little while. Darren, I want to talk to you, been rested, but the Cape form seems fairly solid.
He's a decent horse, Clyde. He's really trained on well. He's run off the likes of Sylvanus Dasher. He beat Lord William, run off Grinkov. They're decent. That is my main danger to my banker. I've bankered Noble City. Now, super impressive on debut. And last time out, if the gaps open at the right time from the 400, he would have just about won. He was very unlucky. And he's going to love the step up and trip. He's got a lovely action. Richard Fourie sticks with him. And I think this could be the start of a Peter Muscat double with Essie Vungu Vungu.
Okay, may well be the case. Peter Muscat back in KwaZulu-Natal now. And yeah, the WIAC form's worked out already, so that makes sense.
Yes, Veldskun won from there. Listen, you have to be impressed with him today. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. Unlucky not to have finished much closer last time out. He does try the 1400 for the first time. On his style of running, Clyde, you have to believe that he's going to enjoy it. He does try the bend for the first time. He's now travelled to KZN. That's his first run in the province. So there is some doubt about him, but you can safely say that we haven't seen the best of him yet, and he could well be well ahead of the handicapper. A horse that you're going to get a run for your money with is number 1, Go Man Go. He did well in his latest start, Clyde. He stayed on nicely. I think the race is going to be run to suit because possibly Dandola is going to go to the head of affairs. He can slot in just behind him. Very little separating the two of them. But he has performed over the 1400, whereas Dandola hasn't to date. So I'm going to say that the race lies between the 1 and the 3.
Okay, and Andre Nell, that stable in KwaZulu-Natal, they're in form at the moment. A guy like Richard Faree's been riding Runaway Song, so he'll know he's now riding Noble City. It's an interesting race. Let's take a look at what the gentlemen recommend. Darren Burrows taking jackpot 2 by bankering Noble City, then Field, then we bank of the 7 later on that we've been talking about, and that of course being Isi Vungu Vungu, and some horses at the back. It's a 65 Rand per. And Darren's got another recommendation for us. He says it's worth having a go on this horse Noble City. Race 7's a handicap. It's 4 fillies and mares over 1,200 metres. Not an easy race. This Aggie Heat would be, I would imagine, be the horse to beat. It's got fairly strong half-out form in the running of the 7th. Got to have a chance. And there are a few in here with chances. Mr. Burrows, what do you make of race 7?
I thought the value lay with the Cape Town Raider Rafif's Choice. Now, in a penultimate start when dropped back to the 1,200 metres, she ran a cracker behind Touch of Grace, who came out to frank the form. Last time out, I don't know what happened, but she didn't run her race. I think first run in KZN will it's one to follow. Of the rest, Bon Bush and Palm Breeze, there's nothing separating them on form. And then Aga Heat with high fault form, she comes into the race with a chance.
So it's a tough one. I don't know how you've dissected it.
Yeah,
did you
very
put
tough.
field in any of your, or is this, or have you
No,
broken it down?
I put forces, Clyde. I
Okay.
can't afford field like you. So
Okay, well, no, we take percentages. We don't spend all of them.
Bon Bush, I like the look of her, Clyde. You know, penultimate start, she was returning from a layoff on that occasion. And she only got touched off in the dying stride, needing that run. Then, in her second run after arrest, they dropped her back to 1,000. I think she didn't quite have enough time to find her stride. Now, back over the 12, super fit. I think she's the filly to beat. I'm going to say she's the one that all have to beat.
Strong.
Ahead of,
Strong form line, eh?
yes, Ancient Epic came out to win.
Yes.
She won the KZN.
Some minor feature.
Yeah.
And Maquette came out and won.
Maquette won too, yes.
Yes, so that form's solid. So you're talking about, this is Bon Bush we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, that may well be the right horse. Yeah, and? What
And
else?
then the same filly, a filly from the same form line is number 6, Palm Breeze. You can see she's a kilogram better off. She'll also appreciate the 6 furlong. So I'm going to go 8 from 6, Clyde.
8 from 6. Okay, it's interesting. Bon Bush, Glenn Cotson, Ashton Aries, will it be them? Or will it be Palm Breeze, Michael Miller and Tristan Godden? We'll see how all of that works out in a moment. Of course, Daryl Marie says no. Bon Bush is definitely the right one. Race number 8 is a pinnacle stake, so weights now matter. It's a 1,000-meter race, and Isi Vungu Vungu is obviously a very, very good horse, and does appear to be the right one in the race. From a weighted perspective, Daryl Marie, this will be best in.
He is best in, Clyde, but he's only best in by half a kilogram. Second best in is a horse called Good Traveller,
yeah.
who's a net 114, so half a kilogram separates the two of them. Thereafter, the next best is 106. So that's 4.5 kilograms out at the weights. Clyde, a lot of people are going to say he's returning from a rest and he's got a hefty weight to shoulder, but he's the class package in the race, whereas Good Traveller's off form currently. Isi Vungu Vungu appears to be going the right way. He's certainly improving. I think he's got the class to carry the weight in his comeback effort. If you're playing to beat him, I think you have to go very wide because it does become.
If you play to beat it, it's unaffordable.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
a field. It's a field race.
The
But
whole
now-
day becomes unaffordable.
But now, why I like him, Clyde, is Princess Keller. We saw what she did in the Senor Santa. She absolutely bolted up. That's the same formula.
Yeah.
We saw Master Archie. We saw what he did in his first run back. So let's hope Isi Vungu Vungu can repeat those two efforts and score a winning return. I like the look of him, yes.
You know, some big names you've mentioned out of there. Another winner that came from that particular Cape Flying was Cruise Control for Gavin Smith. Tell me, Mr. Burrows, what's the story? Do we go Biggs, Isi Vungu Vungu, or are there any concerns?
No concerns, Clyde. He runs well fresh. His comeback run in January ran touched off by Mr. Cobbs. He should never have lost that day. He found galloping problems. He couldn't get through, and Christoph Simeon had to switch him to the outside. Another stride he gets up. Last time out in the Cape Flying Championships, a great run, second run after arrest. He runs well fresh, and I think his class will carry him through. He's one of the best sprinters in the country.
Does appear to be the case. It's always a good thing when they've already won at Maritzburg. Maritzburg can be a tricky track, Hollywood Bet Scottsville, as you know, but Isi Vungu Vungu's got that behind him. So that's the best bets on the card from the Waiter to Win team. We're into the handicap. It's over the mile, the last race run here today, and there are a few in here I would imagine that have got to have chances, and personally I thought Professor Snape would be the one to beat in a race like this. Hopefully the Easter Bunny has treated you well this weekend, and Easter Bunny, open a few eggs. Did you get a few? Did you get a few lint? Was it lint or was it...
The kids will, Clyde.
The kids will, yeah, but... I think you got a few, one wrapped in a gold wrapping. Okay. What do you make of this last race, Mr. Murray?
Yeah, what's interesting is last time in his penultimate start, Al Dante was taken right down to the 200-meter mark, allowed to warm up beautifully. In his later starts, I didn't see any of that. I don't know what the difference was, but anyway, Clyde, let's touch on himself. He looked excuse me, he looked overs. Just got caught in the very close to home. He comes back in trips, so that has to be a positive. Form lines certainly worked out. I mean, Ricardo's won from there, and Habel. He's got a great draw. Clyde, the stable has scratched a few runners recently with the stable virus. So that's
Where's
the
that, Cape
concern.
Town or Durban?
No, MJ Woodendall.
I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Al Dante, yes.
that is the concern.
Yes, okay.
But on form, he's a huge runner.
Yeah.
Track and trip suited. Release Me, I was very impressed with his latest victory. He was never in doubt. He came into the straight and it was race over from the top of the straight. He can go on with things. I don't know how that form line has stood up, but irrespective, I think he's got more to offer. Professor Snape, he improved with the blinkers last time out. He's off the same rating. Let's see how the stable goes in KZN. Because if they start off firing, he can be with them. But if they start off slowly, we're going to be in trouble because we're a little bit in the dark over here. And then Golden Peace landed a bit of a gamble last time out. In the post-race interview, the stable spoke extremely highly of him.
Okay.
So they expect him to go on with things.
Okay, well, that's quite interesting. Golden, that's for Gareth Van Zyl, winner of his last start. That form hasn't really worked out. There'll be no winners from there. I see the Al Dante form has already worked out. Ricardo's already come to win, and so has Habel. I'm just particularly interested in Professor Snape. I think that, I think he's a decent horse. That horse. I'm glad to see Future Turn came up from there for one, but I think Future Turn's a decent horse. I think they've got Professor Snape to beat here personally. Mr. Burrows, what do you think?
Professor Snape is my first choice, Clyde. I'm a big fan of Cape Town form. He has seen the Scottsville circuit in the past. He's done well. The last run with the blinkers on, he really improved, and he showed what he's worth. And he could now go on with it. Al Dante is going to have the run of the race. He likes to go handy, and he's a course and distance winner by 6 lengths. Let's see if he takes his part, because the stable has had a virus going around. So that's got to be a concern. Release Me was an impressive winner, first run in the province. And then Golden Peace. I think you had a bet, Clyde, on him last time out. And he won as he liked.
Yes, correct. Won very impressively. I thought lovely horse in the making, and certainly got to have a serious chance. And if you're wondering why Keegan DeMiller is not riding or didn't ride today, he had to serve a suspension of a week or 10 days. I can't remember. That's the only reason why. Giving him time off to spend with his family as well. All right, well, Darren Burrows has got this quartet wrapped up for us. He says this is how they're going to run. Either Al Dante will win, or Professor Snape, or Golden Peace. So 2, 9, 10 for first, by 2, 4, 7, 9, 10 for second, same for third, Field for fourth, spend 360, and let's hope we can treble our money on this Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody.